Good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. This is Behind the News on The Nation TV, a program where we give you updates around the world from our national dailies. And you know how we do it. My name is Bolarinwa. I'm here with our in-house analyst, Mr. Adeyinka Aderibigbe. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, David, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm very fine, sir.
And to all our viewers, we wish you the very best on top of the day. Keep watching The Nation Television. Thank you.
Right, you have a very warm welcome there from Mr. Aderibigbe. Let's take you straight into our national daily, starting from The Nation newspaper, where we have the headlines here saying capital markets is anchoring $1 trillion economic target, says Mr. Edun. We also have INEC recognizes Magulu as LP candidate. We also have Delta opts out of suit on Rivers emergency rule. Heading straight to the Punch newspaper, where we have APC courts opposition govs, that's governors with high-stakes offers. On the windows, we have marketers import 436 billion naira petrol and made room with Dangote. We also have global health at risk as funding crisis hits WHO. And so our last paper for today, we have the New Telegraph paper saying federal government repatriated over 100,000 irregular migrants in 1 year. That's coming from their investigation right there. On the windows, we have faulty de-used aircraft litter airports as operators shun repairs. Let's take it straight to our own paper here, The Nation newspaper, saying capital markets is anchoring $1 trillion economic targets. That's coming from Mr. Edun. Let me take it straight from the lead here, saying the capital market is a major facilitation plank for the federal government's $1 trillion economic targets. Coordinating Minister of Economy, Edun, has said. According to him, this will be achieved through innovation, a stronger regulatory environment, and new products on the platforms to drive investor participation. Again, we have the big numbers on our plates. Mr. Adeyinka, this is another big number again on our plates this morning, saying Nigeria is trying to achieve a $1 trillion economic target.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Like you said, it's a big number on our plate, and we just hope and pray and will again work along with the government in achieving the propositions. Of course, we know the inhibiting factors. We shouldn't beat about the bush around that. I think it's safe to say that it is normal to pen the vision around the capital market. It's about the only institution that can drive that ambition to bring in that FT sum. We're talking of $1 trillion economy. You know, it's not a small number. You know, Nigeria, going by our last performance on the international bond market, Nigeria is on all green. You know, funders all over the world are always looking for where to dump their money for big investments. So we can say that the figures are good, the numbers are fine, the propositions are not too high, but then there are the tiny pieces of print that we must not shy away from. A major plank of that has to do with our infrastructure deficits. A situation where 250 million of us and growing are still dependent on a monomodular means of transportation, i.e. the road. Does not speak well of an economy that is looking at $1 trillion. A situation where we are more dependent on alternative sources of electric generation or electricity generation does not speak well of an economy that is looking, that is ambitious to get to $1 trillion mark. So even if it's these two that you talk about, but then there's even the big elephant in the room, which is the insecurity that has moved from the northeast, that is taking key states in the northwest and is coming down to the north central in a very rapid and ravaging mood, you know. Just recently, a number of people were cited even in Lagos around the Lekki axis, but for security outfit that quickly did the profiling, you know, words were already being bandied about the mission, you know. So, in other words, we are seeing that insecurity is still a major issue. Even though foreign investors might still look at our country as a destination of choice, the fact remains that we need all economy, big or small, are still local. So we still need to do a lot more work on ourselves locally to continue to drive the targets that we have. A situation where those industries that are within are already looking to other jurisdictions that are more favorable does not post a good picture of an economy that is targeting $1 trillion. Because it would have been better if we are inviting others to come and join those who are thriving locally. But we are seeing that those who are locally operating are being atrophied and then moving out to get or to suck in some oxygen before coming downstream again to operate in your domain. It does therefore makes it look one kind. We have a very huge challenge in the area of logistics and facilitation. We have a huge challenge in the area of, you know, managing our transportation systems. This itself is a major trigger to any big economy. If you want to achieve $1 trillion economy, solve the challenge in transportation, solve the challenge of insecurity, fix the energy, and then we'll be coasting on. But Nigeria is still a big work in progress. So we believe they will get it right.
Right, so
we have the dreams.
Right, so you've laid some areas where we feel we need to work on as a country to, you know, get in the chunk of our money. I mean, every Nigerian spends a lot on electricity. An average Nigerian spends a lot on transportation, which should have a marginal cost on what we get in as a country. Over 200 million Nigerians are going out on a daily basis, different costs. So how would you advise, or what would be your partnership to the government or to regulatory bodies that, okay, these are things you could do, rather than just probably highlighting where this money can be made from?
Well, don't let us deceive ourselves. The solutions are not rocket science. They all know what the challenges are. We know the big issue always is the finances, meeting targets, you know, getting funds to fix these areas. But we are saying that in the realm of priorities, these three remains major priorities to achieve $1 trillion economy. You know, there are so many, it's not a one answer fit. There are so many legs to what can be done. And I believe that Nigeria is not short of experts. Nigeria is not short of ideas. Nigeria is not short of what to do. You know, the area we might have one or two challenge is the political will to decide that that is what is next. And I believe that if the government, because that was what they promised us when they released the budget last year, that budget, by the estimation of the National Assembly, I'm talking of 2025 budget, that budget by the estimation of National Assembly has already been kicked into operation. They promised $1 trillion economy. We have already started it. There is still no driver to achieving it, apart from just theories about where the propositions could come from. I think by now, if we need and if we must achieve results, we should have moved beyond the level of propositions to the level of actualities, and then begin to see how these are being brought into realities. Yes, there was that reform that the National Assembly has kicked in about approving the 4 legs of the tax reform. You know, we have not yet seen it transmitted to Mr. President. We know where he stands on that. Let him get the bills put together. Let him assent to it. Maybe it will also kick in some reforms. You know, but by and large, we are not short of the ideas about what to do. You know, and I believe, as at this moment, we should have been looking at what is on our plate, not where these things should come from.
We really hope that many of these plans will come into fruition, and we know the present government came in with a lot of plans, with a lot of agendas, just to make sure the economy is stable, we have good mode of life or mode of living better than what we are coming from. We really hope the actualization of these things happens in this government, and that's what Nigerians are clamoring from. Moving away from government matters now into the real elections. The 2027 election is something that has become a household name now as of the moment, Mr. Aderibigbe. And as of now, the Punch newspaper is reporting that APC cuts opposition government with high-stake offers. Let me read the lead for better understanding. Ahead of the 2027 presidential elections, cross-party negotiations have intensified with the ruling All Progressive Congress cutting opposition governors with high-stake offers, the Punch can report. This came as the development sparks anxiety in the camps of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, the People's Democratic Party and the New Nigerian People's Party, and others. This is just saying that the All Progressive Congress are trying to woo in key stakeholders from other parties into the APC, assuring them of retainment tickets, assuring them of National Assembly slots, and just the politics before the election. Mr. Aderibigbe, what can you first off, the politics before this election is becoming a household name for every Nigerian, more like every Nigerian is anticipating and looking forward to what's going to happen in the 2027 election. Is Tinubu going to remain the president, or will he be ousted just like Atiku and the likes are trying to form a coalition?
Well, if you are a politician, you will not be surprised at what is happening. But even if you are not, the class of which majority of Nigerians are, I don't think Nigerians also are too surprised about the turn of events. We all know that by the time we'll be turning into the month of May, which is the mid-term assessment of this government will be leaving the realm of governance to the realm of politics.
Yeah.
And so, if the dictum is correct, that says that to a politician, all weapons are fair, then you will not beat a wild goose or a wild chase to assume, therefore, that it is not out of place for APC to, going by that, the way Punch captured it, high stakes offers to anybody, anybody at all, including the David Bolarinwa, that has a figure of followers. Because for a politician, it is the figures that matter.
Yes.
So, and we have been in this part before. The PDP also did the same. There was a time in this country that PDP had 31 governors out of 36. They had 31 plus Abuja. So, you can then begin to see what are the APC gotten that is making them to, they are yet to hit 25. You know, PDP still has over a dozen of governors. They have not been depleted to 5. So, what is, and then you have some other parties that are also having in the marginal level. You have MMPP, you have Labour Party that are also at least holding
1 or 2 positions.
A governor here, a governor there. ABGA also struggling, even though he still has his governor somewhere. You know, so all those other parties are. But in the main, we have seen that the 7 is going to be available to it. And the major counterforce, which is APC, it is not going to be much of what has the government done in 4 years, but a show of force about numbers. I better pass my neighbor, bringing me down to the, to the brass tacks. So it is going to be a brute show of force between the two major contending forces, the APC and others. I believe you understand what I'm saying there. So, for the election that is coming ahead of us, that is where we will see whether APC is giving very, very good offers, or very juicy that cannot be ignored, by any standard, or whether the opposition is looking beyond the authority figures and appealing to the grassroots to drive the anger of Nigerians is left to be seen. But you see, politics answers to an economy. There's an economy behind mobilizing people. Somebody funds it. It amounts mobilizing 10,000 people to gather at a point. Amounts to X amount per person. By the number of people we are expecting to see a group of funders are responsible for that. Don't forget, we since the 90s, when we have this armada of option A for two-party system, and then that one cancelled, and Abacha came out with his own five-party structure, and then Abdulsalami came out first with a two-party, then now gave license to register more, eventually having 18, but the structure still threw up the big two as we find it. Since the end of the Second Republic, we saw the death of grassroots party membership, where members formed parties through not only the collection of party membership, but in regular donation of money, i.e. monthly dues for their parties. Yeah. Now, you have an oil journal structure where individuals willingly donate to the party to run. And where that happens, you find political figures being the major donors, pushing very far down the mass donation. The Mama Loja, Iya Loja donating 10 naira, donating 1,000, donating. All of that has been pushed far down. What you have now is the rule of the principalities, the rule of the godfathers. And where that happens in any politics, their voice will always carry the day, And so, I don't want to completely wish it away, but I do not see how a mass mobilization can upend the structure that is on ground presently. Because it's even a class suicide. It is the thing that those who are proposing it have also benefited from. So you cannot propose something that will also injure yourself at the end of the day.
You're almost part of the system.
You enjoyed it. So to that extent, I do not see what the coalition is proposing to use, that is mobilizing the average Nigerians. We wanted to try it in 2023. Labor was virtually everywhere. It was like a malaria fever, almost catching up everybody. It was like, you call the 2020 syndrome.
Corona.
It was like a virus, almost affecting everybody, But then you saw how the traditional platform came up to defend itself, to defend the legacy. So I want to say that it might repeat itself in 2027. Even though the opposition might be looking at that as its trump card, I believe as we get to the midterm proper by May 29, they should know that they should not be their alpha card. They should have options and begin to see how they can plug the areas where they see themselves leaky, especially the PDP, to see how their governors are no longer attracted, to see what can be done to boost the confidence of members across board, to see what is actually causing that and addressing the foundational issues. maybe if they can do that. But looking at picking the emotions of Nigerians and using it to blackmail the government and using it as a trump against the government on election, I do not really see that as a strong card to play. But you can never say in politics, you know.
Right, just like the saying goes, when two elephants fight, the ground suffers. We just hope that whichever way the elephant is going to fall, is not going to be too harsh on the citizens who basically are the ones to bear the brunt. Whoever becomes the president or whoever remains in power or whoever attains leadership of the country, they will enjoy their own part, but the citizens are there to, you know, bear the brunt and see how their lives could be better. Away from governance issues, just as we wrap up the show, the New Telegraph headline is saying the federal government has repatriated over 100,000 irregular migrants in 1 year. I think that's a good news to start with, but I think it could be better because we definitely know we have over and more than tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands Nigerians who are suffering overboard, who have been illegally migrated into, you know, neighboring countries. We have Benin Republic, Libya, and countries of sorts. I don't know, over the weeks, there was this rancor between a popular internet figure, I choose not to mention names right now, and, you know, some bodies, Nigerian bodies, in NAPSIP and all, which are saying we have girls who have been trafficked. But right now we are hearing that over 100 migrants have been repatriated into the country, Mr. Aderibigbe.
First we must thank the federal government that is not abandoning Nigerians to their fate, you know, wherever they find themselves, despite how they got out, you know. They could have shut their eyes to their plight, you know, and behave as if, well, you didn't get involved when you are going, so why should it be our headache how you go back, you know. So we must thank them that they were alive and they were responsible to their responsibilities. They were alive to the challenge and to give a hand to say there could still be a second chance to all these people. You see, for man generally, you always feel that the grass is green on the other side.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you begin to see that actually there was no green grass anywhere. You know, the grass is green in your mind, you know, and you could be brought out, you know, with better planning. And that is what I think should be the next issue right now. The National Orientation Agency is doing so much at this time. Other institutions of state are also up and running. MIDCOM is alive to its responsibilities. Yes, the economy is biting hard, yet the figures are not adding up. Yes, there is a serious crisis all over, that you feel your domestic economy is challenged, and you almost get dehumanized, frustrated, discouraged, disenchanted, and desolate. But I don't think that it is enough to get yourself to a point where you be left with no other option. Exactly. Whatever it is, the cost of going will get you stranded, especially when you do not prepare adequately. You have seen people sell even their homes, you know. Sadly, it's even happening locally. There was a case I heard of a woman that sold her own property, even here, to relocate to Lagos, to come and meet her children, only for her children to fall in rough weather and she had to be forced to go back home to her hometown. She has sold her house. So the problem is, so where does she stay? She had to hang on with one of their relations. Can you imagine the trauma she is? So it's happening all over. It's not about when you travel out of the country, but even when you relocate from where you are domiciled to another place and you kind of burnt the bridge before leaving, you find that you'll be... So that, a lot of the time, many of those people involved burn their bridges, leaving themselves with no other option. And then when uncertainties now happen to them, they are left like a fish out of the waters, But the government will continue to do its bit. It's only that they can only stretch the hand to as many as are willing to receive them. Even as we are talking of 100,000 repatriated, I bet you that there will still be millions that will still say, no, I won't want to come. No matter what it is, I will stay back here. I will ruffle it out. Because they know there's this thing about shaming, When you get to that point, and we never, just like former Governor Fashola said one time, may your loyalty never be tested.
So let's just hope that Nigerians will get to understand that traveling abroad is not really the goal. It's, do you have what it takes to survive there? Do you have what it takes to maintain yourself there? If you don't, stay home. Find better means of getting things done. Yes, the government would not be answerable to all. You have your own responsibility to carry as a Nigerian citizen. But going abroad to suffer in the name of Greenland, just stay home. This is all we have for you from the Stables of the Nation TV. I remain David Bolarinwa. Thank you, Mr. Aderibigbe, for coming on the show.
Thank you, David, for having me. It's nice having you also locked on for the past 20 or thereabout minutes. Please keep it locked on still. We love you from this end. Bye for now.
All right, we will meet you again. Bye-bye.